Hey y'all, and happy Saturday. So we are back for week 43, and you can see I've got a lot of stuff on my desk. So I have a few ideas, and I'm just kind of gonna jump right in and just kind of play like I would when I assemble various materials, and we'll just see what we come up with. But week 43 is, we're going to continue with the gratitude for the elements of nature. But this week it's earth. So last week it was water. This week it's earth. So peace is in every step. This is a quote and also the title of a book that I read very, very long time ago by Thich Nhat Hanh. And this quote has never left me, as it's touched me so very deeply with the idea of mindful meditations. That is what I hope to impress you with in this series dedicated to the elements of nature. And you guys are already well with me from all the comments and stuff that I'm seeing from the last two videos. It's like, you know, like this is perfect. We're kindred spirits here. So that's really refreshing, and I'm like happy to hear that this is so spot on. As we think about, our creative time as well, and as we continue to create. So creating patterns of mindful meditation as we work in our studios, and creating the art that causes our hearts to soar and our bodies to dance and our minds to sing. As we continue to look with gratitude at the elements in nature that allow us to create as we do, earth for me is the next natural place to turn our attention. As matter, solid material and form, we associate the majority of our supplies that range from paper, brushes, found objects, and of course every pigment that makes up our paints with earth. There are several symbols associated with the earth. The alchemical symbol is the inverted triangle with a horizontal line through the bottom third. Also the circle with a cross inside. Using the circle with cross is iconography this iconography appears regularly in my work and symbolizes for me womb wisdom. I relate the earth's womb and the nurturing aspects along with the magnetic nature of our world with the opposing forces of the four directions as manifestors. Yeah, so below, because I've had pictures in the books when I say below, the common beliefs about this symbol are derived from many cultures and date further back than most of known antiquity. So a lot of these symbols, like the cross and the circle, the inverted triangle, like they just go so far back, but yet are very much connected to all the cultures. The planet Earth has as one of a symbol that is made up of the circle to represent spirit and the cross that represents matter. The vertical line of the cross represents the mind, and the horizontal line of the cross represents the body. This symbol of the earth has been used for thousands of years all over the world, and the symbol will most likely be seen as representing the globe and the four directions of a compass. People are more likely to connect this version because it is more neutral and does not have the religious connotation. So we know how the cross can have a lot of religious connotations as well that not necessarily are in all cultures. Or if, for many, moving away from the sort of the traditional ideas of the cross, are not relatable, then of course the inverted triangle with the line through it, the alchemical symbol, just the circle, certainly can replace that and be just as dynamic. How many times have you seen these symbols on ancient artifacts, buildings, and paintings and considered their meaning or origin? They have influenced visual dialogues for ages. The colors brown and green and the properties of cold and dry are linked to the earth element. In nature, earth is a symbol for physical sensations or movements. Geometrically, the shapes linked to earth are an inverted triangle with a line through it, the bottom third, as I've said before, and the cross with the circle with the cross in the center. As you create using your own visual vocabulary, Has your work been influenced by these symbols currently or in the past? Much of our connection to symbols has been stimulated on a subconscious level through the collective unconscious and soul memory. While journaling this week, think about the element of nature as earth and the multitude of influences it has had and still does during your creative time. Remind yourself that this is a meditation of gratitude for those simple and consistent everyday things that we rely on, either physically or emotionally, to aid us as we create. So yes, earth. So what I thought, I'll show you some of my collaging from last week that we did on Patreon. And then I naturally kind of think, when I think of earth, I think of protecting her. I think of cleaning her up. I think of being a responsible inhabitant. And so often, industry just creates so much stuff, to send us stuff, to mail us stuff, byproducts of the stuff we use, like the plastic industry, petroleum industry and stuff. And in a lot of ways, we as individuals, because we have such a love for Gaia, we take the responsibility to clean her up. I think personally, it's just as much the industry's responsibility to try to make more sustainable products and try to not make so much that just gets littered and thrown away. And we as the purchaser seem to have the responsibility for it. But us, honestly, I think some of the responsibility should fall back on industry. They should be regulated more and have to be responsible for the stuff that they create that ultimately becomes trash. So, we each do our part. And I think as artists, we just look at a lot of this packaging and, like with a different eye, and how can we use it? And because I love collage and mixed media, and I think a lot of you guys are the same way, I'm always looking at ways to use these materials because to me they're beautiful and, and they can be used in so many ways. So we're going to play with some collages today and kind of work and do sort of this intuitive three-dimensional collage. And that's pretty much what I did in my journal pages from last week. I just was in the mood. Sometimes I'm just in the mood just to kind of just intuitively do stuff, not plan it out or figure it and what am I going to do and how I'm going to do. Just allow myself to just be free and just whatever comes, comes. Like no judgment, no like, oh, it should be like this. Just allow yourself just to be free. It's so, it just opens you up and it just allows so much more dynamic connection to your art and to your creativity. So if you hear that noise, that's my puppy. She's in here with me. So I just did some intuitive collage. This is like old tea bags. This is a bit of old Gelli prints. And I just really went to my throwaway or my scrap bin and I just pulled everything out of there and just worked. Just sort of making these collages. I did use some papers from our alcohol pool last week. I'm so glad you guys enjoyed that and found it so inspirational. And so I used some of those papers and then just added other stuff using some vintage sari silk, which had me thinking about working with three-dimensional materials this week. Some from our fragments, old papers. And so I just love these very simple, just instinctive kind of collaging. And just having fun with it. So that's last week what we did in Patreon. And okay, so let's come down to the table and let's just see what we're going to do here today. Alrighty. So like I said, this is packing, cardboard. I started tearing some of that off. These are papers that I just crumpled and used oil to make them really soft, and they still have some oils in them, but I let them dry. But in this kind of collage, they'll be great. This is a baby wipe that I've used to clean up my jelly plate with. I've told you before, I keep those. I have a drawer full of them, just all different kinds. And I love this as textural stuff. So I have a lot of that in the drawer. I have cheesecloth that I've just coffee stained and painted and did stuff with. This is just scrap fabric, canvas pieces. Let's see. This is some handmade paper that I stained and what have you. fabric, lace. This is an old paper bag. We're going to use this. Some paper out of some vintage books. Really like the color of the paper a lot, so probably maybe use some of that. Some more canvas. And also I thought we could pull some of the papers that we've been making. Let's go and pull those back out and just see how we work these down in collages. So yeah, let's just pull out all this stuff and keep using it in our work. It's important just to kind of continue to work with things and see how they come about. So to begin, oh, let me show you too. Some more down here. So this is a lot of paper, tissue paper that I've stained, you know, stuff you get in gifts. And I've kind of stained with my circles and stuff like that. More packing paper. These are just papers, mark making. So pull some of your mark making paper out. This is mark making on the craft paper. This is on drawing paper. So we're just kind of work with these pieces, and I don't know, we'll just figure out what we do. So I want to find a place to start, and you can also do these as small collages that don't have a lot of height to them. So we'll do a couple of different types. So you can see some that we can put in a journal, and some that we can have as a more three-dimensional object. So let's just do one for the journal real quick. Let's just take this paper bag. So I can just show you how I just take a simple paper bag. Let's just crumple it, maybe a little noisy. And we're going to get this as the foundation for something that we can, you know, make these and put them in our journal. So we kind of make them outside the journal and then adhere them. So immediately when you take a paper bag and crumple it, it just becomes another animal, which I think is just so much better. So I'm just going to go ahead and sort of rip this so I kind of get a straight edge. Something about the width of the journal. Now this is a piece that I have laying up there, but as soon as I looked at it, it sort of fits as another piece that could go together like this. And this is just a torn piece off of some cardboard. So what I would do is, let me just get, I'm going to use my, that's paint. Use my glue, my PVA. And I'll start off just by kind of putting a little glue down there. And you're not really thinking about it. You're just going to kind of start constructing and just see what happens. So we kind of get that down. So it kind of just begins to get us a little foundation. And let's get, I'm going to pull a little bit of this. Kind of use that as an edge. So here again, just kind of, because it's dimensional, you can kind of just, you don't have to have a lot of glue. If you have a glue stick and you don't have any PVA, use the glue stick. In this case, whatever you have is good. We're just really just kind of working instinctively. So let's take like a bit of this. Let's kind of put that right there. So I'll grab my glue stick and let's get that down. So it's just really, the idea is, you know, just use these as kind of cleanup collages. I have something called a cleanup journal, studio cleanup journal. And I also like to do these cleanup collages where you're just taking beautiful snips of paper along with packing material that, you know, that you can't bear to throw away. Baby wipes that came from cleaning off our Gelli plate. And you'd be just surprised at how, you know, like we can just really make these neat inspirational collages. Let's get a little more glue back there. And just get some of this here. And, you know, just really have fun. Don't overthink it. Let me get a tissue. You know, don't critique it. Just have fun, because we're going to put it in our journals anyway. So we know right now that this, you know, just kind of figure out something you know is going to be about the size of your journal. See, so when we're done, you can just put them right in. But it's just like these little collages that can use stuff up and also very dimensional. Let me get a bit of this maybe. Let me see. I think I will. I know I want to use a bit of this cardboard here. Oh no, we're going to use the cardboard more in the dimensional collages, because I've got to, since we're putting this in the journal, it would be nice for me to try to keep it a little more flat, because I'm telling you, I am really getting this journal pretty chunky. So I have one of these Fisker. I got it at the Goodwill. It was like $2. I'm always looking for stuff. But this is a good way to get texture. So whenever you see these things, sometimes you kind of figure out, what in the world am I going to do with that? But this is a neat way. If you have one of these from the old crafting days, like look how you can just get some instant kind of corrugated texture without it being too you know, too without it being too thick. So I thought I'd pull that out and remind probably some of you of this tool. You're probably thinking, oh yeah, I've got that thing sitting right over there in a drawer. Okay, so let's get some of these papers here. I want to get a little more contrast. Something a little more black and white. Let's grab this. And let's see where we are with these pieces. And also I want to use figure out where I want to put it. Kind of like it over here. Here again, we're just playing. Well, the thing is, I got to remember my width of my page, don't I? Okay, so we need to make this narrower. Maybe I can just put this here. Okay. So I'm using the PVA too, remember, because I really still want it to have some dimension. So I don't really want the glue sticks can kind of flatten it. So whatever white glue you have, even if you just have that tacky glue, that's perfect. Kind of want to keep everything a little down there. I'll use the Giotto for this, because this is that the glassine paper, and I think I like the Giotto. Plus, you know, it still kind of holds its texture, so you don't have to worry about really flattening out too much. So let's see, what else can we do to this to make it? So let me just grab, I'm trying to get some of the stuff out the way here. And I'm gonna put this there. So far so good. I'm loving this little piece from stuff we otherwise can throw away. Let's put a piece of this down. This edging from a piece of canvas. So, same thing, this PVA works good on this. And really just have fun. Make a lot of these up. And not only in your journal, but you can make them as small collages you can gift for the holidays. And like theme them around nature. And, you know, you may even like title each one gratitude for something and give them as gifts to people in our lives that I'm sure people can really appreciate. A reminder, you know. See, I really like how this is coming along. So let's do something, like I'd like a shot of red in here. So I have my little box of all kind of little pieces. So I could just take a piece of red fabric, kind of use that, or I have this red paper. Let's just see which way you want to go. I kind of think I like the brightness of this. I kind of put the whole thing up so we can see it. Yeah, I like the brightness of this piece. And let's see, I have all kind of little stuff in here. A lot of this is sari silk stuff. So maybe another piece of fabric right here could be nice. So just, you know, like I just kind of keep these boxes full of little bits and bobs because you'd be surprised at how nicely they work. And we think in terms of collages and then using the fabric. It's a piece of pink silk with this red. I like how this is going. Just see. Do I want it going all the way down? Do I want it sort of stopping there? Maybe just have it stop there. Scissors. So let's just kind of get, I think I'll use the Giotto for this too. It's pretty good to use this on fabric. Works well. But anything you have, Fabri-Tac is great too. Okay. Kind of filling these pieces in. Get this piece of old sari silk. Use a little bit of Giotto as well. I was going to do it that way, but do I like it this way? Or do I like it that way? Decisions. Maybe I'll keep it this way. Okay, so we're coming along. See the texture of the old cloth and all those little bits and pieces really begin to build up the richness of what we're doing. Go ahead and cut this little piece. So even like when I'm looking at giving stuff to the Goodwill, reevaluate all those old blouses and stuff that you have. I mean, on one hand, like I used to think, oh, what's a good blouse? If it's a good blouse and somebody else can really use it, it's nice. Of course. But a lot of times I think that, you know, you give it to the Goodwill, and these days, sometimes the Goodwill, I mean, they really put a hefty fee on things, I'm finding. And then you go back to the Goodwill to try to buy like stuff to use in your artwork. Because a lot of times I'll go and I'll look for old silk blouses and things that kind of maybe a little like are more tattered. You know, it's nothing that I would wear, or I don't think anybody else would really wear it. But so this is a piece of tea bag. So I'm just kind of like adding more layers of texture. But it's translucent, so you're going to be able to see through it. And that just adds some extra interest. So let's just put this down. But it's real fragile, so I need to use the ooh-hoo. So the whole point of this type of collaging is just build up, build up, build up. You know, just have fun kind of building up and seeing what sort of what your walk away is. So a lot of times I'll reevaluate stuff and say, you know what, I'm going to keep this and rip it up and use the fabric in my work. Just another way of looking at it. Because it's not like it's not going to get used, you know. So just another way of thinking about things that you may be thinking about giving away. I love that. See how that just disappears, but it's right. Just adds that extra layer of kind of antique or vintage, you know. Okay, so let's put this up here. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this down, sort of see how we're going to play with it. There. Yeah, that little bit of red is just so nice. So it just adds just a little something, and just have this little collage that, you know, like I said, you can make them as wonderful gifts with some type of quote, you know, or, you know, if you frame it, if you put it on a backing, and maybe at the bottom you'll title it and some type of quote, just something as a reminder of just using a lot of throwaway things, a lot of stuff that otherwise, you know, like we can identify a lot of scraps of fabrics, tea bags, old brown bag, you know, scrap of fabric. This is just sort of drawing paper, but we've done our mark making on it. Just very simple things. And then, you know, you just create a piece of art with it, and then celebrate the fact that these are just lots of lost pieces coming together to create something really neat. So I'll stop that one there because I want to show you all just a way to work three-dimensionally. So in that case, we're going to take, let's literally take this piece of cardboard and let me see. I think I'll rip it. Kind of get rid of some of that. And where is, I have this handmade paper. So let's rip this. Some paper I made a while ago. So let's just, the idea of beginning to build this up, maybe this way. Let's start there, and then let's take some of this mark making on this brown paper, and This is just, you know, we've done some of this previously where we're just working with Sumi ink, some of our spray ink oxides, stuff like that. But it makes some really beautiful paper. I mean, who would think? Just brown paper bag with some Sumi ink, some sprayed oxides. Inks, so Seth's Izinks, then the gold, the pearl. There's some Tim Holtz distressed in the gathered twigs. Yep. That's it, basically, that's on there. Let's see, I want to kind of get this right here. So I'm going to use my PVA and just run a strip. So this is just kind of collaging more dimensionally. Let's do that. I think I got a little extra on the edge here, so let's get that off. And then we're going to put this down. So same thing, I'm just going to get some glue. Okay. And I'm purposely making this one sort of scattered, you know, like not with even edges. I think it just, you know, makes for a more interesting collage. Let's see. This is kind of cool. It's a scrap. Like that. I know I have a piece of and it's kind of nice to push the colors back and forth. So here's some pink. Just kind of playing. See what we have here. Let's pull some. Sorry about that. Hold on a second. Okay, I think it's safe to return. Sorry about that. She's in here with me, but she heard another dog, and it's like a dog was like kind of yelpy, you know, and she couldn't tell where it was coming from, so she's definitely going to bark about that one. No stopping her till she decides she's had her fill. Okay, so let's keep on going. May have to stop again, but that's the nature of having a puppy. But she likes to hang out in here in my studio, and generally she'll just sleep and she won't make any noise. Okay, so I'm gonna have this little piece hanging off the top. So we're just really going through. So I think I'm gonna take and cut this and just use a bit of it so I can get more variety in what I'm doing. So I kind of like that there. So we're just going to keep on finding bits and pieces to use. I found this little piece here. I really think I'm going to put that there. But before I do that, I want to cut. Definitely want to bring a bit of this pink in. So let me just try cutting it and then ripping it. Because normally it's that ripped edge that I like. And yeah, so just kind of just using bits and bobs of stuff. See if I can get this really kind of ratty. So if I glue that there, kind of glue this on top. Yeah, I like that. That just kind of gives it, because honestly, the more layers you can create, the better. It just adds so much interest to what you're doing. I kind of really want it to be a very rough edge there. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little glue down here. Like that. And just so I can kind of have it sticking over the top there a little bit. then we'll come back with this piece, and that'll get laid down there. Okay, so let's go ahead and put some glue on that. I can hear that dog barking still. I hope she doesn't start again. Maybe she won't. Okay. So, that was just kind of like a piece of brown coffee stain paper. So, okay, so I like what we have here. Let's get some of this in the middle here. So I'm just going to grab a material length and then just sort of see how we can kind of sort of get it in there. So we're overlapping. Something like that. Okay. I know I'm going to do something else in here. Maybe, oh, maybe I like it like that a little better. So let's just kind of rip that. And I can tuck this underneath there. And let's see. It's all about layering. Okay, that'd be nice. We could layer that there. Okay, so let's put this down. Let me use some Uhu. I call this intuitive collaging. It's just about just being intuitive. Like, don't even overthink it. You see pieces that you think you're going to like, grab them and try them. You can always change it or do something different if you don't like it. This I want to slide under this piece of cardboard because it just adds to the layering that we're doing. And I want to kind of keep this a little crunchy. I like how this piece, you know, can hang over the top. Trying to see, do I want this subtle or do I want it more graphic? Maybe I want it more subtle, like that. So we're going to get some. Let's use the PVA because it's going to be a little thicker, and but I want that top to hang off, that extra up there. And then this one we're going to kind of put down there. So it just kind of butts up a couple of different fabrics, but we're just working in the same kind of palette. Okay. Alrighty. So far so good. So now we want to get this here. Let's put this down because this is going to go lift this up a little bit so I can be able to slide underneath it. This is going to go really translucent because it's a tea bag. But here again, it just keeps on adding layers. So let's put this down here. This underneath these. Lift it up and get that there. And then this, we want to get sort of there and here. The nice thing about it is that it's still allowing us to have the texture of the handmade paper, because I don't want to get rid of all the handmade paper. I'm using it as a foundation, but I'm going to keep this live edge, and we want to keep some of the color and the texture. So, yeah. Let's put a little bit of this down, and I'm just going to kind of crumple it and overlap it. Okay. This is coming along. You can see we're just kind of putting these pieces together. So I do have, some of this I think is pretty cool. Let me grab some of this and just sort of see. It's like an old lace tablecloth. I feel like we can add a little extra texture right here where those pieces have come together. And oh yeah, that's nice. And we just kind of keep on building up texture. So we're working with paper, but fabrics. I thought we'd just kind of mix it up this week and just kind of show you how I work with a lot of different materials. From throwaway, and a lot of stuff is, you know, stuff that you otherwise discard. It's kind of like the PVA. Once it dries, that's not going to move. Now you see, I'm not putting down every edge. I want some of it to be raw and free, because it's you know, this collage is designed to be free form. Let me see, how's the time going? Okay, I don't want to keep you guys too long. So then one of the things I would do, I think, from here, I mean, I could keep on layering, obviously. Kind of use my 80% rule where I'll get things to a point and then I'll stop. Kind of figure out how I would continue to work them. Like that there. This is a piece of antique African Kuba cloth. That's just, this really looks good here. I'll think about where I'm going to put that. Because, you know, these could actually be great as collages that you can put as dimensional pieces for book covers. You know, we love making books. These would be great to use as bits for books. Bits for books. Okay, so I think what I'll do is let's move on to just showing you how I would start stitching on them, because I could be here forever. I just kind of wanted to give you guys a few ideas maybe to work with in your studio this week. So probably what I would do is maybe, like, I would just start sewing. And since things are thick, I'm using a waxed thread. Probably I'll just put a knot on the end of it. So let's go ahead and make a knot. She's like moving around like she's a little bored. Okay, no, Akila, lay down. I want this to finish sticking. Let me put a little bit more. She's just stepping all over my papers down there. My goodness, girl. You normally lay down and relax. Why are you all over the place? I think that dog's got her thinking. No. She's a shepherd puppy. Well, she's a teenager now, I guess they would consider it, because she's just about a year. I got her last, so she's a year because I got her last November. And she was a little better than 9 weeks or whatever. I mean, I think she was like 12 weeks or can't even remember, but something like that. So, and she's very curious. If you've had shepherds, you know. And she's vocal, although I've been working on her not being overly vocal, because, you know, just barking is not cool. So she's gotten a lot better with that. And she's very alpha female and very prey driven. So if there's any animal or anything like that where it's anywhere near her range, she's curious. Like, she's very gentle with smaller puppies and animals. She recognizes her size against small. And I think that's because I have a Bichon that's like 15 years old. So when she came along, he was already, you know, old guy. And so she obviously couldn't play with him and be rough on him on any kind of level. So I taught her that. So she uses that as her example, like, okay, I know I'm not supposed to be rough on on little animals. So I'm just kind of, you know, like making these stitches. And you guys who have been following me, you all know that I have the red thread project, and it's free to jump into on my Teachable. I'll try to remember to put the link here. But we're making books, and we're just kind of spreading the idea of the red thread being a friendship, symbol of friendship, a symbol of solidarity, a symbol of karmic connections, and the fulfillment of wishes and prayers, etc. It's red thread throughout all the cultures. It's just an amazing symbol. So I like stitching with the red a lot in my work. This is a wax thread that I get from, I'll make sure I put the link. I gotta make sure I link. Let me make some notes to myself or I will not remember. So I need to link red thread, and I'll link some of this red thread because you could get it on Amazon. And those of you who have joined in my Color Through Clarity, Clarity Through Color Facebook group. So I'm going to stop it about right there, I think, and then I'm going to come back. You all know that we do a lot of sharing over there. So anything that you do, any of your work, but any red thread that you do, if you do some collages like this, and you know, I'd love to see them anyway. And if you also link the red thread, that'd be really cool. This project has just been going all over the globe. I know we have like maybe 800 or if not more people in the red thread project, and they're all over the world. It's so cool. I started that in 2020 as just a way to stay connected and for us to remember the bigger picture and the bigger concept of humanity and what we're, you know, what we're about, and to stay in the space of our art and creativity, and sort of like the idea of the quilting bees or knitting groups, you know, things where women and men had their collective kind of group generated activity. See? So you really could just go, Akila, no, how are you just all over my papers like this? No, 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 no. Come on, go back over here. Come on. Place. 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 Akila, come on. Place. Over there. No. Place. No. No. She understands the no and the snapping. No. No. Good girl. Let's see, let everybody know how you're such a good girl. So then I may take, since I still have some length here, and this is the back side, I want to get some red up in there. So I'll just kind of come up in here and do some red. So yeah, just have fun with this. I'm just kind of doing a running stitch, but you know, you could do anything. And I just like the idea of, you know, stitching on top and all these little bits of fabric and stuff that you probably wouldn't use. They're just little bits to throw away. Cardboard. I think cardboard just adds such wonderful texture to it all. So anyway, I probably will stop there for right now. You guys can kind of see what I'm thinking. But before I do, I wanted to take, I just had the idea. I want to use some of this Golden's gold paint. Let me put it right here. And I really like I would really just put it down on my cardboard here and just really give that cardboard a little bit more importance. And this gold on the cardboard always looks so good. See, so just kind of adding a little bit to that. And I mean, you know, we can go on and on and on. Like I could just keep on finding bits of found objects, You know how we worked with our pods, they can be put down. There's like so much we can do here, but I wanted to just kind of get you started as we kind of have gratitude for Mother Earth and for nature, and you know, we can really use all these desperate pieces to create even like a bundle of wool, you know, can just be put on here. So much can be done. So I'm gonna stop there because I could be at this for 2 more hours. Just wanted to kind of give you all a taste of where, you know, we can go as we think about, like, I totally would put this as a cover. Akila, leave my papers alone. I can't believe you're stepping all over my artwork. Honestly, you think that's a good idea? And don't eat any of it. What do you find down there? So, give her a treat. Keep her mind off of this so we can finish up. So, yeah, like, I would definitely use this as a cover of a book. Here. Good girl. You know, get all this really nice dimensional thing, or it could just be framed as a collage, you know, as a collage piece. And then these kind of pieces we can use as pages in the book. Like, you could make a series of these, and you could make a series of these and then actually begin to group them in the pages of a book that has like this cover like this, and maybe using cardboard, maybe making the pages out of, we could actually use canvas, make the pages out of canvas, and then sort of kind of put these pieces on. The pages could be made out of cardboard, and like this becomes a cover. And then, you know, these images we do become the inside pages. Just keep on cutting up old card, and we get cardboard boxes all the time. And literally, I've made books out of pages of cardboard. And it's so much you can do. I could just go on and on. So I just wanted to get you guys started on this. Hopefully you've enjoyed our time together, and, you know, just, you know, as we meditate and do sort of walking meditations, just having gratitude for nature, for Earth this week and all that she provides. And then just looking at a lot of the throwaway byproducts of our world in a different way that can just be adopted into our art and the work we do. So thank you for hanging out with me. Love you all. Have a happy Saturday. If you enjoyed this video, please thumb it up. Please comment. I love your comments. I love you sharing your stories with me, and the things that come up for you from these prompts. It really means a lot to me. Oh, I didn't use any of this. See, I could put some of this in here. See, it's not going to end. Like, I might spray paint this a gold and then put that in there. So anyway, you guys see what we're talking about. So thumb up the video if you enjoyed it. If you're new to the channel, please hit the bell and hit all so you get all the notifications. And yeah, until next week, have a beautiful, beautiful week, and happy creating, and love you all. Take care. Bye-bye.